Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of those videos where I talk about updates on the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress coming from Toady1 and Kitfox. This is one that has been in the works for a while and I'm very excited to finally see the finished product of it. This is the Dwarven personality sheets and full descriptions and everything. We've seen kind of mock-ups of this in the past, but this is the more or less finalized version of it. So Tarn put out a little update alongside of the Kitfox newsletter where he basically said that they've been working on the few menus that they haven't finished yet, and we're going to be walking through those. Or rather, finishing up the few menus they hadn't finished yet. I don't know, weird wording. Anyway, let's dive in. So this right here is the Dwarven character sheet, and the first thing, or the first tab here that we have selected is their relations. This is a very fun little tab, and it is one that is very easily accessible via the Z menu in the current game, which shows you all of their relations. So this is where you'll see who their lovers are, who their wife is, who their husband is, who they're married to, who their deities are, the gods that they worship, who their friends are, who their kindred spirits are, their acquaintances, relations such as family and cousins, aunts and uncles, and all of that. And the really cool thing about this screen, the way it is now, is you have just that handy dandy little zoom to. I'm assuming that's what that little dot arrow there over on the right there is, where you click that and you just jump to where they are. And you can, or rather, you click that and it'll take you to their screen so you can look at it, or the magnifying glass will jump to where they are. I'm not sure which one does which. I need to click those buttons to actually find out. But those two buttons are basically either zoom to or expand their thoughts. And it's just really nice to be able to very quickly, at a glance, at such an easily accessible menu, see the dwarves' full kind of family relation, I guess. Now, the next one is under the Personality tab, and then you can click on Traits. So these used to all kind of be crammed together with a few other screens, which we'll hit in a second. These used to all kind of be crammed into one gigantic wall of text, which is that legendary wall of text that people just get scared away of Dwarf Fortress by. But if we look at their personality and traits, we see that this dwarf has an iron will, a very good feel for social relationships, a natural ability with music, and a good intuition, and an ability to read emotions fairly well, and good creativity, but has, of course, questionable spatial sense and poor memory. Well, that's unfortunate. And Kick Roast here also often feels filled with joy after a new romance in 165, and is a perfectionist, and she presents herself modestly and frowns on any flashy accoutrements. She has a noticeable lack of perseverance, and she is pleased by her own appearance and talents. And she does not easily hate or develop negative feelings, and she is slow to trust others. She doesn't cling tightly to ideas and is open to changing her mind and is grateful when others help her out. And she tries to return favors and likes a little excitement now and again. She generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity and laughs in a distinct fashion when she's exasperated and blows out her breath when she's annoyed and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and likes working outdoors and only grumbles mildly at crappy weather. Once again, Kick Roast here has a pretty detailed personality, just like all dwarves do. And you see that purple text up there? That is an event that happened in her life that actually changed her personality. And as you have dwarves in your fort that stay in your fort for a longer period of time, these purple texts will pop up. Maybe they see a corpse, maybe their pet dies, maybe they gain a new sibling, maybe they actually get married instead of just have a new romance. And this will change their personality over time, which will change how they interact with other dwarves. Once again, this used to be a lot harder to break down and kind of wrap your mind around because it was lumped in with such a large piece of text, but I feel like this is probably some flavor text and knowledge about your dwarves that a lot of people just completely missed entirely. Now, this next one is a little bit simpler. This is the dwarf's inventory. So this is Zon here, the peasant, and who is currently resting, as you can see up there at the top. And they are equipped with a slightly damaged leather shoe. That's what the X means on either side. The little lines on either side are quality level. Same with the little circle with the little spikiness around the edges. That's your quality level. So it's kind of an artifact of the old game, I guess. But the quality level basically depicts like how nice it is. The little X's, the bolder they are and the bigger they are and the more of them they are, the more damaged the clothing item is. So clearly we can see this dwarf also has some threads sewn into their ankle, meaning they actually have an injury because that goes along with their clothing. They have some stitches. But above that, we also have some gloves. We have a tunic. We have a turtle shell earring and a ring and two leather shoes and and what looks like one sock. Man, this dwarf needs some more clothing. Although, we probably need to scroll up and scroll down on that nice little line there to actually see the rest of the clothing, as well as the rest of the stitches for that matter. And here we have the health/history tab. There's also the status, wounds, and treatment and description tab. But the health history tab explains that in the 25th of Slate 106, this dwarf was brought to rest in a bed, and their medical situation was evaluated, and they were cleaned with donkey soap before then, and evaluated before they were cleaned, and received some stitches before that. Now, the neat thing about this screen is I don't actually know where you'd find this previously. There is a health tab in the game currently that says what their current injuries are, and there is another tab in the game currently that shows what the injuries are affected, but I don't actually know of a health history tab. So this is actually a really neat little piece of information to be surfaced. If this is in the game right now, somebody please tell me, because I've never seen it before. The next one over here is in knowledge, and this is just some little bits of knowledge that they have. Now, the neat thing about this is you can kind of find this. There is a way to find this, but from what I can tell looking at this, it actually looks like you can expand it and get a little bit more bits of information, because as we can scroll down, we can see that this dwarf knows about some philosophy, the philosophy of justification, belief, time, social welfare, some mathematics. They know about astronomy, and I'm assuming if you scroll down far enough on here, you'll run into things like dances, where this next screen pops up. Or in this case, form of music, not actually a dance, my bad. The Meadow of Tulips is a form of music, which is used for entertainment, originating in the Amazing Mountain. So the reading of this, I assume that you can click on the different pieces of knowledge and actually learn more about them. So currently in the Dwarven skills section, you can sort by type, and you can actually look at what their knowledge is, and if it happens to be something like a piece of music, it'll say that they know the piece of music, but I don't know if you can actually select it to read it. In order to find out what the music is, you have to wait until the dwarves are actually performing said song in the tavern, and then examine that song, which is a menu that is so difficult to find that I didn't know it was in the game for a couple hundred hours. So that is just an example of like surfacing some information that is already in the game, but just really kind of tedious to find. It doesn't matter if you do or don't. Like, it doesn't benefit the player to know how to find this information. But once you know how to find this information, there's so much more that is available to you, and it is such a advantageous position when it comes to storytelling, and I'm really happy to see this in the game proper. And this final one is memories, which is used to be crammed in as part of that massive chunk of text. And this is a very important screen because it actually shows you what dwarves are feeling and what they're thinking about. So there's several different types of memories that can pop up. Certain ones are negative, certain are positive. The kind of lighter and softer the colors of the text, the more positive the menus are. Gray is just kind of a neutral one, and the kind of more orange and red and purple, they are the worst they are. So in this case, this dwarf is uneasy dwelling upon seeing a dwarf's dead body, and it's made them become more cautious. So it's affected, Atir's here personality has been affected by seeing Aiden wire traded's dead body, and this is making them become more cautious. But they are blissful after sleeping in a great bedroom, and they feel sympathy after bringing somebody to rest, probably because other people got injured next to or whatever killed Aiden here. And they also in the summer are remembering being caught in the rain, and they've become more resilient because they are accepting of it. And in the autumn, they felt pleasure remembering a fine, tastefully arranged seat. And in the winter of 101, they were blissful, remembering a great bedroom. So the nice thing about this version of this UI versus the old kind of wall of text, as much as I kind of like the wall of text, this is actually showing us what year they had what thoughts. So we actually know how old said thoughts are, instead of just popping up in a massive wall of text. It's almost, if not entirely, impossible to figure out exactly when they had the thoughts. We just know which ones are more recent because they're just kind of in order that they've happened. But I love the fact that they are now parsed out into the year, and it'll make helping a dwarf recover from a traumatic event that they keep dwelling upon or remembering easier, because you'll be able to section out what is the problem and whether or not it's happened in a long time. And if said event just keeps happening on repeat, then you know that, wow, this is something that I really need to fix. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching this video. If you would like these in your inbox, you should go subscribe to the KitFox newsletter. There's a link down in the description. If you enjoyed videos like this and you would like to support them, there's a lot of them on my YouTube channel. I also do first impressions and a few other things, as well as live streaming way too goddamn much. And if you'd like to listen to my voice a little bit more, you can do that down at my podcast. Link's also down in the description. Something that I would like to mention is this channel is completely listener supported. So if you want to support this channel and help me out here, there's links to my Patreon down in the description as well. And you should come watch my streams. I'm live today. I'll be live for 14 hours. Come watch me play some Dwarf Fortress and other things. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.